What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with Guni and Mr. Kenny Ken. We're going to be doing a preview for the North London derby, Spurs versus Arsenal on Sunday. I think it is. Yeah, it's on Sunday. And but before obviously we get into that content, make sure you do like, share, subscribe, and also leave your thoughts down there in the comments. And if you want to follow Mr. Kenny Ken, make sure you go down there in the description. All of them are clickable links. I've made it very easy for you. Support the brother. You get me? But Kenny, how are you doing today, man?
It's been like, you know what? You have to be here. It is absolute fever pitch in this country. I think, arguably, because Anthony Joshua is fighting for the world title at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Alexander Usyk, Sky Sports, as you all know when you were living here, the minute they get an exclusive rights of any like big event, the whole world knows about it. It's all Ryder Cup in this country because Sky got the TV rights, so it's Patrick Harrington's Ryder Cup. But most importantly, this weekend, Ryder Cup, Joshua Usyk. But we don't care about that. We care about Arsenal and Tottenham. That's the only show on the road. Chelsea are not our rivals. Man United are not our rivals. Just because you went to school with Chelsea fans and Man United fans, and they used to give you stick because their teams used to always beat Arsenal, and you've got this warped mind that they're your rivals. Let me just get into your little brains, Arsenal fans, from the ends. Your rivals are Tottenham. They were your rivals 100 years ago, and they're your rivals 50 years ago, and they're now your rivals. It's always going to be Tottenham. Even after we're all dead and gone, it's going to be Arsenal, Tottenham. It's no other club. It's not Chelsea. Don't kid yourselves. Go and have your little rivalries and your little rolling the tarmacs, but never ever say you'd rather lose to anyone but Chelsea and Man United. That you hate Chelsea and Man United more than Spurs. How dare you? Go and wash your mouth out of soap and water.
I have to agree with that 100%, man. That's a rivalry. Arsenal-Tottenham, that is the key rivalry between both of those clubs. And anyone who knows the club's history should know that off the bat. It should be natural reaction to them. But yeah, so this is actually your first big test since Manchester City away. But since
look how well that went.
I mean, yeah, it was 5-0 at home. 5-0 away at Man City, but it's happened to the best of them, to be honest with you. So,
but since
different circumstances, though, Ken. Do you know what I mean? But since then, a bit of positives though. Since then, you've got a run of 3 wins with 3 clean sheets, which is always positive because it's always good to build from the back and shore up your defense. But yeah, you can see like. What I think he's going to be most pleased about is the clean sheets. And how do you feel about these clean sheets so far, Ken?
Well, the thing about it is that, he's freshened the team up. I think, when you talk about, in cricketing terms, when England used to play Australia, you want to get different personnel who have had hammerings from Australia in Ashes series. In terms of footballing terms, you don't want people who are scarred by our defeats against Brentford, Chelsea and Man City. So he's got kind of a newish team. He's got Ramsdale in goal, who Leno's basically talked himself out of the number 1 because he's not going to sign a contract. And, Ramsdale is thinking, thanks very much. I'm here to be the number 1. He here to be number 2. So you've got that change there. You also got, Gabriel Magalhaes, who's come in as well. So he's come back and, so far he's forming both games for good. Then we got, Tomiyasu. And so in that respect, you kind of got a fresher back 4. And they kind of relish the fact that, let's face it, Norwich were hopeless. They came for a draw at the Emirates Stadium. And as you all know, Burnley are very one-dimensional. They're very direct. It's all about getting the ball down early for, Barnes and Woods and, trying to get Neil into the game. And I think that kind of played into their hands. So in terms of that aspect of the game, we were very compact and, we gave nothing away. But that's not just... I don't think... Burnley game was, like, really good defending. I thought Gabriel was fantastic and I thought Ramsdale was good. But I think Norwich, it was a lot of do with just them not be good. But there are We're not out of the woods yet, though, Goonie. A man knows football. And the reason why I say we're not out of the woods is because I say it's a great respect. I don't know if anyone in the United States or yourself remember EastEnders. Do you remember Pat Butcher and Roy?
Of course, I remember them.
Do you remember what Roy couldn't do?
No, because Roy and Pat is going back like it might even be the 90s, bro, late 90s or early 2000s.
But what I'm trying to say, right, is that there are genuine and serious concerns about the makeup of our midfield, and there's serious and genuine concerns about our front three, and that is what can make us come up a cropper against Spurs. It's not working. There's players who are out of form. Saka is out of form. Smith-Rowe is out of form. They're playing badly, but because they're now seen as the next best thing, and dare I say it, the great white hopes. And I'm just saying, not in terms of like the colour of their skin, but in terms of like figuratively speaking, people, you're not allowed to analyse their games, but they've been absolutely terrible. Smith-Rowe goes into other people's spaces, and you can't play him and Odegaard in the same team. Saka's out of form. Pepe, his final ball's not good enough. Aubameyang's, still about out of form. So we're not out of the woods. Against teams that can actually defend, we're going to find it very difficult to break them down. And I think Spurs, despite their troubles, are doing how to defend. Because I think Arteta's got, and I say it figuratively speaking, he's got to make his decisions. He's got to be braver. He's got to grow a pair and say, right, I can't have my attack disjointed like that. So he's got to say, right, these are my front three. You guys got to sit it out. If I've got Odegaard on the team, be brave and say Smith-Rowe can't. It's got to be on the bench. If Saka doesn't feel comfortable on the left-hand side, then leave him on the bench. Play Pepe there, and get someone who wants to play on the left. You can't have a situation where he's trying to accommodate players because of their reputation. You can't say, right, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Smith-Rowe, Saka, and Odegaard. Hang on here. If this was FIFA, you say, but it's not FIFA. You're going to have a clogged up attack, and I think in both games, especially against Burnley, and to a certain extent against Norwich, we had a lot of trouble trying to get that kind of balance. People say we created a lot of chances against Norwich. We had only many shots and goal. Don't be fooled with it. I was at the game, man. The most clear-cut chance it fell to Aubameyang. He's got no confidence. The Aubameyang of 2 years ago scores a hat-trick. So we're not out of the woods. Arteta's football style is still very, very poor. It's still slow. It's still ponderous. And it's not conducive to us being a free-scoring team.
I mean, everyone knows what my thoughts are on Arteta. Not that they really matter, me being a Chelsea fan, but I don't think I absolutely do not think he's the
David
right man.
Moyes. He's David Moyes. He's a David Moyes at Everton. He's a David Moyes who had those 9 months at Manchester United before Man United sacked him, and they sacked him pretty quickly. I
mean, the United situation was at the time it was untenable because not only were the results bad, the football was horrible.
Yeah, but that's the
same
rubbish.
at Arsenal.
Yeah, but that's the rubbish. That's the rubbish we see on Arteta. The football, it's an eyesore. I mean, people like criticise Unai Emery and say that it was a tragedy the last few months and it was so depressing. I mean, they need to kind of stop rewriting history here. I don't think they realise how toxic it was under Arsene Wenger, who is the real cause of our demise because he outstayed his welcome. But at least under Unai Emery, we were a free-scoring team. He got the best out of partnership of Aubameyang and Lacazette. He got the best out of Iwobi. We were a free-scoring team under him until the players, made this position untenable after Baku and Mesut Ozil with his, with his bad vibes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, let's not forget that Mick Arteta was the one who jettisoned Mesut Ozil out of his football team as well. So it wasn't just Unai Emery. It was his fellow boss, Mick Arteta. So, again, it's that sort of thing. But the football is horrendous. It's horrendous. It's rubbish. It's boring. If you watch 38 games of Arsenal last season, and you think, right, how many times did we were entertained I would, out of those 30 games, if I was to put a percentage on the amount of entertainment we got, I'll be generous if I said we got entertained about 25% of the time last season in
Wow.
both league and cup. And that's generous. You know, he really, really is a negative coach. I think the fallacy that he was worked with Pep Guardiola and that we were going to see Pep football. People seem to forget that he worked under Arsene as well and he worked under David Moyes. In fact, he played his best football under David Moyes at Everton.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate with you, Ken, if you'd even call it that. Obviously, I'm going to refer back to the Burnley game.
Yes.
Now, for me, why I was particularly impressed with that Burnley game is what you alluded to earlier, was the fact that the style of football that Burnley play, it's not an easy type of football. It's a very physical kind of game. And it's a huge aerial battle. And to go there and to be successful, you have to go there and kind of impose your football and not get sucked into the battle so much, which is what you did. And I think a lot of that is to do with the return of Gabriel, because I think he's excellent in the air, and you've been badly.
It's his type of game, yeah.
Yeah, I think you've been badly missing that. Your new signing, Tomiyasu, as well. He looks pretty solid. It's a breath. I mean, me as a neutral watching that game, it's certainly a breath of fresh air from seeing him and Bellerin, because, like, in terms of who's got the balls and the still to go in for a 50-50 and not be scared, it's night and day between the two of them. So. Obviously the return of Gabriel, the return of Tomiyasu, and as well Thomas Partey, those are huge.
Absolutely. You know what? I just want to forgive, ask the viewers to forgive me for not mentioning Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey, if he's fully fit, he'd be our best player for a good few years, and he'll be an Arsenal legend. He is that good, and what we need with Thomas is to get some energy alongside him, and I think. Obviously we had dreamed and had aspirations for Basuma, but I'm assuming that if Chelsea, Man City, or Liverpool come calling, he'll probably go there. I'm sure there's someone that Graham Potter said, don't go Arsenal. Just wait for, there's bigger clubs in England that will go for you because you're that good. And I think it's the same sort of conversation that Steven Gerrard had with Suarez in 2013, when he was thinking to come to Arsenal. I think that someone at Brighton's had the same sort of conversation with Zuma. Mate, give us one more season, a big club coming for you. But, Lokonga's play is a breath of fresh air, and he's given us some sort of solidity and some athleticism. The biggest elephant in the room is, again, the return of Granit Xhaka. And I think if you speak to 90% of Arsenal fans, they would rather that didn't happen. It's again, that expression, Mikel's got to grow a pair in terms of like his attack, especially, the front three and maybe, an attacking midfielder and not clogged up. He's got to make a decision on Granit Xhaka. He's got to look and say, well, hang on it. I had energy in my team. Firstly, against Norwich, I had Ainsley Maitland-Niles on that side. It gave me a lot of energy. And then you've got to look at the, all right, he kind of played Odegaard and Partey, but, when Odegaard was pushed forward, because Smith-Rowe was just his usual horrendous self, which he's been this season, Lokonga and Partey is a more attractive, I think, the better partnership. But again, is he going to be eased in and dropped before Xhaka's most experienced? Because do Arsenal need a deep lying midfielder and someone who's very, very slow? That is a question that I suppose Mikel Arteta's going to have to make. But I personally wouldn't sacrifice the energy that we're getting in midfield for someone like Xhaka.
No, I wouldn't either. And then just based on, if you just look at the results over your past 3 games themselves, I mean, it proves that he's not really needed in the squad, and you could get away with not playing him the next game. With Partey, obviously, he's that holding presence in that midfield. And I've said as well with Emil Smith-Rowe that I've seen glimpses of talent, but I'm not convinced of him developing into an elite talent.
You and me both.
Yeah, because it's like you say, because look, you've got Partey there, so he's kind of like the ideal midfielder that you want to say to the other creative midfielders, okay, go ahead, I'm gonna marshal this at the midfield and I'm gonna talk to the defense as well. You're good. He makes a lot of like his decision making needs to improve, and his finishing in front of goal definitely needs to improve as well.
100%, and that's the biggest elephant in the room with Bukayo Saka as well. You obviously, you have to take in consideration that he's had a long season, and if you add the Euro 2020, previously because of lockdown we had a condensed program for the product restart, and then we got to cup final in 2020, 1st of August, and then you had obviously Arsenal not involved in European matches, but the season for some of the teams extended to the end of August. And then after that you had the Charity Community Shield, and we virtually didn't have a pre-season. And then you've got Euros, and then I think footballers in general, and I think that are going to have situations for the next maybe a couple of years. They're going to have a condensed program because of the World Cup. So again, some of your players, especially younger players, are going to be burnt out. I'm not saying Saka's burnt out, but you're not going to see his best football because, I think if I was being conservative, it's because of his exertions in Europe. But I genuinely believe that we're only going to see the best out of certain players if Mick Arteta has replaced as coach. I always go far as saying that no player under this man's stewardship, management, whatever you want to call it, because he is the team manager now, has improved at all under this manager. In fact, they've gone backwards. The evidence is there. Aubameyang's gone backwards. Lacazette will his usual self, but it's not in a positive way. Smith-Rowe's development is getting shunted. We could say the same with, you could say the same with Saka. 100% the same with Pepe. In fact, he did okay towards the end of last season in spite of his coach. So we really do need to bring a coach to bring the best out of these players, and that's a massive challenge. Player development is not going to, flourish under this coach. Maybe you'll disagree with me, or from afar, but I can't see where these players have been improved under this coach. You know what I mean? And that is the massive problem. You can't have a situation where players go backwards. And, one more thing before you ask me the next question. What's the point of trying to get a lad to sign a new contract and that you're going to get him involved in the first team, and then because he struggled in his first game against Brentford, and, you drop him, and then a League Cup game when you need to repair his confidence, you don't play him, but you play Eddie Nketiah, a player that you're trying to get rid of. I mean, what sort of man manager is that? I mean, that ranks as alongside his handling of Saliba and Guendouzi. And that is my main problem with this guy. Everything he does is wrong. The style of play is wrong, because he should be just trying to get us to win games and get the best out of his match winners, but he's failing to do that. His handling of the start of the youngsters is wrong. So, and if you're going to make Aubameyang your main asset, your main man, well, why are you not playing to the guy's strengths and getting us on the front foot?
I have to. I'm going to agree with you on the player development side of things, because I was a fan of Saliba before he went to Arsenal. And when I heard you guys were signing him, I wasn't saying this from a rival's perspective, just purely from a youth player that I think has got a lot of talent, and how he's going to be developed over the next 5 or so years. And I said off the bat that is the wrong club for him to go to get the best out of his talent. It is, because of just the situation around the club. And it's just like you said, certain players don't seem to be crossing over certain marks. There seems to be like a glass ceiling for them with Arteta as the coach.
100%.
Yeah, but I wanted to go into the Spurs game. Obviously, that's on Sunday. So you saw Spurs against Chelsea, particularly in the second half. It was a bit of a capitulation.
Major problems in that team. Major problem.
How would you? Based on that, how would you approach this weekend's game?
Well, the thing about Tottenham is that in terms of like ability and in terms of the team, they've actually got a team. On paper, they've got a better team than us because it's kind of more settled. But when you look at Spurs right now, they're a lot of the players are not playing the football they're playing under Pochettino. In fact, you can go as far as saying that since the Champions League final, where they remarkably got to that final, there's a lot of players gone backwards. Dele Alli has shown me this season why Mourinho left him out. You know, and Ndombele is a confidence player, got all the ability in the world, but just hasn't got the work rate to play there. You know, they still got a problem at right back. They don't know what to do with authority. And I think they got, is it Emerson Royal? Is it, who's their right back? Is it some...
Emerson Royal Tanganga.
And Tanganga. So Tanganga's was just, he got himself sent off against Crystal Palace. So they've got the problem there. Left back, obviously, they're good with... they got,
Regulion.
Reguilon at left back. But, they still got the conundrum with Eric Dyer at centre half. He's there to provide solidity, but you just look at him and you look at his performance against Chelsea, he got dragged about like a rag ball. And Harry Kane just does not want to be there. I don't care what anyone says. Once you've told the whole world, including your fans and your owner, that you want to leave to win trophies, then you've left Spurs. It's just like me going up to you and said, right, man knows football, I'm going to retire. Well, I've retired then. Once you say you're retired, you've retired.
Yeah, that's mentally. It. You've checked out mentally already.
No,
that's it. And no, sorry, because you did mention we're talking about Harry Kane, and some of the Tottenham fans, I don't know if it's just making excuses for the inevitable, but they're saying that Nuno's style isn't really getting the most out of Harry Kane so far. You're not really seeing him in the box. He's crowding out the midfield. Similar issues that we were having in the England squad, actually. But do you think that's what Nuno's asking him to do, or do you think that instinctively that's what he's being drawn to for some reason?
Well, the thing is, Roy Keane, and I think it wasn't just Roy Keane, but it was other people, because it was discussed in Monday Night Football, the day afterwards. And I think as much as a lot of people are not massive fans of Jamie O'Hara because they just think he's irritating and a reality TV star. The biggest elephant in the room with Harry Kane is you've already got players in midfield. You've got people like Ndombele, you've got players like Højbjerg who's holding it, and you've got you've got Dele Alli in that kind of midfield role as well. What they don't need Harry Kane in there. So exactly. Roy Keane's 100% right. We need you to hold the ball up because the ball keeps on coming back. Because we don't need Song. That's not Song's game to hold the ball up. Song's game is to run off you, and run those channels for you.
Exactly.
Or you two take in turns to run those channels. But we need you in there. So when the chances come, you or a Song are in there to put the ball away. But you can't get that with Harry Kane. The reason why you can't get that with Harry Kane because with the influence of Jose Mourinho, is now thinking, you know what, I'm a total footballer now. I scored the most, I got the golden boot, and not only did I get the golden boot for goals, I got the most assists as well. If you look at his goal involvement was about 36 if you look at goals and assists. So he now sees himself as that sort of player. Like he's basically playing like a player who's lost a yard of pace when he hasn't lost a yard of pace. Or maybe he has because of his ankle injuries, his regular injury. Either way, it is causing a problem because I don't think Espirito Santo wants him to play that way. But, he's making decisions on the football field and trying to be the manager in the field. It's not working. He's hiding.
No.
Even so, he mentally does not want to be there. Every time Spurs lose a game like against Chelsea and they lose against, Crystal Palace where they down to 10 men, and then you see like how strong the top four are: Chelsea, Man United, Man City, and Liverpool. He's gonna think, "Oh, gee," he's gonna feel, "Well, bloody hell, Levy! I thought we were mates. Look what you've done to me. Why am I playing with these guys? I could be elsewhere."
Yeah, so, especially at his age as well.
Yeah, and Dele Alli is a massive problem. Dele Alli has not played well in any form of games since the World Cup in 2018. Since then, he's gone off the boil. In my opinion, maybe you don't agree with me, but that's how it looks
No,
to me.
I think he has as well. I think he has as well. Completely. I think it's just not. Do you know what? I think it's the point where he's just there for the payday at this point. To be honest.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's not making those kind of runs. You know, like when Dele Alli plays his best football, he's one of those players where I thought he was going to be like another Frank Lampard, where he was going to sort of he's technically he's good. He can pass, run, and shoot. But you know how when he was playing his best football under Poch, it was those late runs into the box, past the striker, past the striker and hold it up. You know, like how DL job is to hold the ball up or flick it on, and Lampard just to make those runs and put the
Yes.
ball in the net for Chelsea. And then you had that, and that's Lampard's forte. That's how I look at the situation with Dele Alli for kind of Harry Kane, where when he's playing his best football, he makes those late runs into the box and then gets to the end of things and scores his goals. And he was doing it to a certain extent of England. That's when Dele Alli's playing the best football, but he's not doing that now. Is it because Kane is clogging up his space, or Jose Mourinho was right and he's not the same player? He's not that same player, and he hasn't got that same hunger.
Well, yeah, it remains to be seen, but I think it's a bit harsh when people say put down his performances to just, he doesn't want to be at Tottenham, because at the end of the day as well, we have to remember what was said about him as a professional as well, is that before this, it was always Harry Kane's the most professional guy. He trains the hardest, he eats the healthiest diet. He is like that model kind of player. So that can't all go out the window because the transfer's gone out.
It does happen though. Players react differently. It takes them time to adjust. Because remember, in 2008, when Cristiano Ronaldo was clearly the best player in the world, I still think he's the best player in the world. I'm sure you're going to tell me that it's Messi, and I respect your opinion and respect you for thinking different than me. But in 2008, after Man United won the European Cup and they won the league, and also going into like European Champions in 2008, Real Madrid made a bid for Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to go to Real Madrid,
Yeah.
to the extent that Man United weren't ready to sell. And, they said, look, let's see how it is. They rejected the offer. For the first few months, there was worries about Cristiano Ronaldo as well, because mentally he was at Real Madrid.
Yes.
That's where he wanted to be. But eventually, when he got his head around it, he knuckled down, and Man United got to the Champions League final, won the League Cup, and he won the league. So that's where Kane has to be in that kind of Cristiano Ronaldo mindset. But it's not easy because, Cristiano Ronaldo's a robot. But if Kane can produce those performances for Tottenham that Cristiano did, then Tottenham will be in good stead. But what will happen? What cannot be denied is that his head is elsewhere. So he will be professional, but he's human as well. He generally doesn't believe he's going to win big trophies at Tottenham Hotspur, and that his best chance of winning silverware is the League Cup and the FA Cup, or the conference. If Spurs don't win that conference, there's something's wrong. But that's not what he wants. He wants to win. He wants to play in the Champions League every year. He wants to win the league championship.
Deserves it as well for the level of talent that he's got.
He is the best. He is one of the best strikers in Europe, in the world. I hate Spurs. I don't like him particularly, but we're football men. Both me and you, man, knows football, and we, I don't deceive us. You put him and Lukaku on levels, those kind of levels. They're the same age, and they're, you can't on their day, put anything between them. They're on that level.
How do you line up against Spurs this weekend, Ken?
Well, we're going to have to do a 4-3-3. So for me, my team, I pick Ramsdale, left back, Kieran Tierney for now, because Kieran Tierney's completely out of form. Tavares is pushing him. And, if Tierney doesn't, regain his form, Tavares is going to take his place. But for now, it's Kieran Tierney. Right back, Tomiyasu. The centre-halves pick themselves. Gabriel was going to play. Ben White will play, although a lot of Arsenal fans are questioning his ability. They don't like the fact that he doesn't head the ball, but we didn't buy him for that. Midfield, Partey, Lokonga, has to be. And the front three, my front three is going to have to be Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang on the left. I'll drop Saka and Smith-Rowe. And I left out. I had one more player, Odegaard. So I'll go through my team again. Right back, Tomiyasu. Left back, Kieran Tierney. In goal is Ramsdale. Centre halves, Ben White and Gabriel. My midfield three, Lokonga, Partey and Odegaard. And my front three are Aubameyang on the left, Lacazette up top, and on the left-hand side, Pepe. On the bench, it's going to have to be Saka, Smith-Rowe, and alongside the usual suspects, Azzi Maitland-Niles, Martinelli. Balogun should be part of that because it seems like he's only one strike and he's out, but that'd be my squad. But my first 11, I think that's going to be a very strong side. But I am under no illusions that if Spurs get it right, they'll go into the game as huge favourites. Had they not lost against Crystal Palace and probably not lost heavily against Chelsea, they would have been hot favourites for this game. We're not out of the woods yet.
Score prediction.
Well, we'll win. Just because they're hot favourites doesn't mean we're not going to win 2-0.
Form goes out the window for derby games, so you never know.
100%. And we've had derby games against Chelsea, and we've been absolutely horrendous. Yet only the Lord Almighty knows how we beat you in the cup final, how you let us beat you in the cup final, and how we beat you in the Emirates and how we beat you at the Bridge. That is one of the sort of let's just say it's one of those moments where like back in the 80s, you used to have this program on BBC Two, the 100 greatest sporting moments. I think if you kind of reverse it, and the 100 greatest flukes, I think us beating you in the 2017 Cup final, although we played you off the park and deserved it, but us winning beating you home and away, I didn't see that happening. I actually didn't see us beating you in the 2024 Cup. But then again, Frank Lampard was your manager when we beat you 2 out of 3 times.
And to be fair, that final, I felt that the ref had a bit of he had it in for Kovacic a little bit. We got to be fair. It was never a red. It was never 2 yellows.
Moses got sent off in 2017, and Anthony Taylor was the referee in both occasions.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can't say what I want to say, but yeah, it is what it is. But Kenny, listen, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you jumping in.
Always enjoy it.
Yeah, we've just crossed the half-hour mark. I try and keep it maximum at half hour per video.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
sometimes
definitely.
I'll go on a bit.
No, it's fine. Ken, we love having you here, man. Like, I tell you even off camera, like in terms of like the knowledge that you bring, like you're one of my favorites. You're one of the best at it. So we're very happy to have you here on the show, man. 100%. We've got to have you back on for the post-match, actually. So win, lose, or draw, we've got to have you back on the channel.
Come on. You know me. I say as it is, I'm not going to... As I said before, this isn't when we were in school. Obviously, we went to different schools in North London, but, you can't... There's loyalty to your team, Win, draw, lose, let's all get in the booze. But, you've got to say as it is, because if you want the best for your football clubs, you have to call it out when it's not working. We're all men, we're all grown-ups, we're not kids. You know what I mean? We've got to think about the next generation of Arsenal fans and make sure that we preserve and a great team is produced for our youngsters coming up, because if not, they're going to start supporting Chelsea. Well,
that's the danger of allowing Chelsea to run away with everything. So Arsenal.
And no, it's not just Chelsea run away with it; it's TV as well.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're winning stuff, that's naturally what's going to happen. You're just going to be more marketed, and that's what the kids are going to be used to seeing. So, yeah, but it doesn't look like we're going to slow down anytime soon, anyway.
Well, as long as Abramovich is going strong, and as long as going strong, and even after Abramovich, you know, I think what's happened is that the mentality from your fans is going to be that whoever becomes your owner after Abramovich or becomes your manager, your mindset is that you actually got a history now. You know, you always had a history, but you had this sort of flamboyant history of the Kings Road boys in the 70s. And then you had the sort of flamboyancy of Ken Bates when he had Viali, Hullet, and all those guys like the Matteo Zola, you know, all these players like, you know, like Poyet, you know, good players, play good football, but, you know, that little bit of history you're kind of missing, you know, people like, you know, Desai, Gallas at the time, but no, then you became a machine. So your fans will not allow that to get to that stage where you're going to go back to those Zola days. Or dare I say it, the Kerry Dixon, David Speedy days. It's not going to happen because you've now got a legacy in history because of what Abramovich has done for your club.
No, yeah, absolutely, and long may it continue. I'm sure you're not going to agree with that.
I hope it stops.
All right, then, Kenny, let me let you go. And for everybody who's joined us, thank you very much. And like I said at the beginning of the video, please make sure you do like, share, subscribe, hit us in the comments, and also follow Kenny. All clickable links down there in the description. So make sure you click those. So to everybody that's been watching, stay safe.
Stay safe, mate.